We are the hiccup in the system. We're not going to stand silent. We're going to fix this. We're going to do whatever it takes to make these guys stop picking on medical cannabis users.
I don't know if you noticed, but it was really difficult to get answers from the police officers. Why couldn't we get a yes or a no from the police? Why couldn't we get matching answers from the police? This is not a difficult case. Either they investigated properly or they didn't. As brought up in previous testimony, Officer Leloy and I have a history from 2012. There was conflict over he searched my property without a warrant. I filed complaints and filed harassment suits against him. Because I complained about and sued him, I believe Leloy's resentment towards me played a big part in why and how he started this investigation. I believe it was his attempt to retaliate from those complaints. And in one of the several compliance checks, we have a video of an officer specifically saying Leloy sent him. I firmly believe the government and Officer Leloy was out to get me, and this is very relevant to my entrapment offense. Leloy retaliated against the lawsuit by setting me up after waiting for July 18th, 2015.
At this point, the state objects to talking about what is clearly not an evidence in this case.
Your Honor, it clearly is an evidence. I can show you. I kept track of the camera over there, and I can tell you the exact minute he said this. Okay, overlook. He retaliated against me in the lawsuit by setting me up after waiting for the July 18, 2015 administrative rules to take effect and assigning Officer Bartz to head the investigation on July 31st, 2015, distancing himself from the investigation as much as he could. Leloy insists that Officer Bartz, who decided to focus on this case, however, Leloy initiated the case on June 22nd, 2015. He did the medical check on June 30th, 2015, a full month and a day before he appointed Officer Bartz to lead the investigation. So that means that Bartz couldn't have done the checks and decided to focus on one property because he didn't come on the case until a month later.
You would admit, would you not, that there is some confusion about who did the permit checks? Is that right? In your report?
I'm not confused.
Huh?
I'm not confused.
Okay, you did the permit check.
Bartz did the official permit check. I also did a permit check probably after he did his.
Okay, how do you know he did the permit check?
It was his investigation. That would have been part of the duties of the investigating officer.
You know that his routine duty, is it not, to include the fact of a permit check in a search warrant? Is that
Yes,
right?
correct.
And that's why you say it's routine. Is
Yes,
that right?
yes. The investigator writing the search warrant would have put in the search warrant his efforts to verify the existence of a medical permit.
On August 4th, why didn't you do an update on Detective Leloy's June 30th permit check?
First of all, it wasn't required, and it wasn't one permit. He found 4 permits for the property.
But he did a check on one property, not 2.
Correct. Correct.
Let me also remind you again that Officer Bartz said he called the prosecutor hotline to confer and see if any laws were broken in this case. You'll remember Officer Leloy says he didn't confer with any prosecutor or hotline at all. And I believe it was probably Leloy who was telling the truth, because why did they get to charge me with 31 extra charges had they called the prosecutor to see if they were good charges? I don't believe they ever did, otherwise they wouldn't have charged me with 31 extra charges. So obviously they were going out of their way to get me. And the mere fact that if they believed that it was so wrong that I transferred cannabis to Officer Fontenunu because he didn't have his registration card on September 5th, why didn't they just arrest me right then? I can tell you why. They wanted to shut down my collective. They wanted to hurt all the people in it. But that's why they didn't arrest me right then. They went home and lied and got a warrant and came back and shut me down everybody's stuff. And then charged me with 32 felonies and a misdemeanor.
Well, I might admit, I vaporize a bit of cannabis. I'm gonna go to Alaska, Maine, Massachusetts, Colorado. We've got those hippies in the hills and them doctors scripting pills down in the valley below. Grab your horse and your hat, come on buddy, let's go. Hippies in the hills.
Alright.
Alright, are we ready for the song?